Hello and welcome back, and today I'm speaking all about the Harvester, which is basically the future of gardening. It's a completely autonomous and automatic greenhouse that I'm being kindly lent by Harvest themselves to trial out and pilot it a bit so that I can sort of give them advice on what they can change and just generally help them out, because they're a very local business to me and I'm quite close to their HQ. And you may have noticed this video, and I did talk about it in my last video, but this video is going to be completely much more in depth. I'm going to speak quite a lot about its features and just all the stuff about it basically. So let's firstly talk about its construction. So it's made out of mainly an aluminium frame, which makes it very light and also durable, so it doesn't corrode very easily, and it's also quite light as well, which means that you'll have to stake it down if you do get one. And then the sheeting, then the clear bit, isn't glass, it's actually a plastic which is double walled and very insulative, which helps it keep warm, especially if you haven't got it plugged into the mains so it can have heating, but I'll get onto that feature after. And it's also got some plastic 3D printed parts which are all customly made at Harvest, which means it's also very easy for them to make spare parts. So say you do break something, then you can just ask them for a bit and they probably will send you a spare part. So let's firstly talk about its main feature, which is that it can water itself, and it's also got a timer on it where you can connect it to your mobile phone, and then you've got an app that goes on your home screen that you can control everything from, because there's a control box over there, as you can see, that basically is Wi-Fi connected to your Wi-Fi, so you can control everything from that basically. So say I wanted to tell it to water now, I could press a little button on there, go on my phone, and then I could do everything from there, set it to water and all sorts. And I can also check the temperature and soil moisture from my phone there as well. And if you've got your harvester connected to mains power, then you can have heating and grow lights in it, but mine is quite far away from the nearest plug and we don't have any outdoor plugs here, so we've got solar panel power, which means you can have watering and also Wi-Fi connectivity, so you can check basically all the stuff like I just said on your app on your phone. And the watering, you may be asking where the water comes from, that can also be mains, or it can be completely off-grid like mine. So mine is completely off-grid, so the power is solar and the water is actually rainwater, because on the roof here there's these channels that go down, and then it goes down through pipes through the harvester itself and into a tank which is on the right hand side of this harvester, and that tank fills up quite quickly actually when it's been raining a lot, so it's quite an efficient system. And it's also got some filters on it to make sure that no bits get into the pump, because the pump is also solar panelled, which completely pumps itself. And then with the watering as well, there's two zones. There's the top zone, which is like basically a mister, so it's for the smaller seed trays and smaller like pots and stuff. So I've got my cuttings up there, and they'll just put a fine mist out, and I set them to do it more regularly because there's less water that comes out, or you can set it to do it longer as well. And in the ground then, on the ground level, that is a proper sprayer which really gives it a good soaking. So I put that for about 10 or 20 seconds, maybe every 5 days, especially in winter. And in the summer, obviously, I will up that quite a lot. And that's what's useful about having a soil moisture tester in there as well as temperature, is that you can actually check when you think it'll need to be watered. So in the summer, I've set it so that when it gets below, I think it was 45% moisture content, then it'll water itself extra. And you also may have noticed that the roof, when I had it up, is self-opening, because when it gets to, I think it's 20 degrees Celsius, it opens itself. So that's how it keeps cool. And if it is very, very hot, but this would have to be very hot, then you can open the side doors here, which do give a bit more ventilation, which I would recommend on a really hot summer day. But obviously I haven't had this for summer yet, so I'm not sure how good it is at cooling itself. So over here now, I've got the side door open so I can show you everything I've got inside. So at the moment, in the ground I've only got some onions growing over here, but I've also got this dahlia in a pot that got frosted. So I've got it in there until I can sort it out anymore. And I also need to get all my other dahlias in, but let's not speak about that because I haven't really been out in the garden much recently. And what you actually grow in here, you can either have it on a patio, like maybe my patio, where you could have like pots on it, or you can have it straight on soil like I have here, where you've got soil, you can mulch with compost, and you can plant directly into, which will obviously give the plants a bit of a better life because they'll have all the root space that they want and they can spread out, so you can have free range plants. But obviously not everyone has the luxury of having soil in their garden, so that's why I think this is great, is because it's so adaptable. Say there's a family maybe and you're often away from home, this would be great because it's so automated that you can just set it to water whenever you like it to water, and you don't have to worry about it. You can go away and set it, whereas normally you'd probably have to, in a peak of summer, ask maybe a neighbour or family member to come around and water your plants for you. So that's what I really like about this. So make sure you do check Harvst out as well, which will be linked down below. I forgot to say that. Now I think I'm going to give you more of a close-up of the watering. So the sprouts, the spouts and the misters. So firstly, up in this top section, which is section 1, and on the app you can name whatever section you want. So I've called this my propagation shelf, and then soil level down at the bottom. And up here you've got these misters, and you can turn these on or off, and you can also control what spray they are. So you can control if they're a proper jet out or if they actually mist out. So I've got them on quite a sprinkly setting, so it's a bit like using a rose on a watering can, and that's just to make sure that it reaches the pots. And that's the other thing, before you just set your timer on these, you should make sure that they're set the right setting so that it doesn't just spray away from the plants, it actually hits the plants. And then down here on these bottom ones, these are more sort of, they just spray the whole area, but they do give it a really good soaking, which is why I said you don't really need to have them on for as long. So as you would have seen in the clips, they do spray quite well on the top to hit the plants, and they're really easily adjustable as well, as I just said. And as I did say earlier as well, there is a soil moisture reader which does tell you on the app what the soil temperature and moisture is, which really helps when you need to know when to water it. And if you want to water on demand, say that you need to give them a good soaking or water in something that you've just planted, then as I said earlier, on the control box up there, you can press the yellow button on it and it'll switch on, it'll wake it up, and you can go on your app and access the unit directly just to water all of the plants that are in there, and you can choose whether you want to water the top or bottom, and that'll water it for I think 20 or 30 seconds. At the moment I've only got these ones up here on the top section turned on because this is the only area where I've got plants. So that's just about everything on the harvester itself, like the physical part out here, that I can talk about. And I'd also like to say as well that they also have a grow diary on the app, which is really useful, which they're still sort of developing, which will help you when you plant. You write it in when you've planted it and what you've planted, and then you can write in when you harvest it, so that in different locations you can sort of assess how each harvester's doing and how the plants in it are doing, and if it's the right position maybe for it, or if you need to change the way or the time that you plant it in the year. I'd just like to make sure that you've gone down below, hit the subscribe button, as well as like the video and share this video with your friends if you do enjoy it, because it really does help me grow my channel. I'm really hoping to get to 1,000 subscribers in the next 6 months, so please do share around, share it with any of your friends who you think would like my content. Thank you. So thank you so much for watching this video all about this harvester, and if you are interested then be sure to check them out. They've got Instagram, Facebook, they're on LinkedIn, and they've also got a website, so I'll link all of that down below. So make sure you do check that out, and if you do want to buy one then you can buy one, and if not, just enjoy all the videos that I make about the harvester, and then maybe you can consider getting one in the future. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.